Talking Music with Big Andy. This week, Verity White is talking music with me, Big Andy. Hi there. Before we get into the main podcast, I just wanted to say if you could subscribe and like the videos and listen to all the podcasts, the bands that you may not have heard of or bands that you don't know if you like, try them out because it might be worth your while. Also, if you're interested in films, science fiction and horror films, maybe take a listen to my other podcast called the Sci-Horror Film Podcast, which is available on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. That's the Sci-Horror Film Podcast, where we review short horror and science fiction films that are all available for you to watch on YouTube. Thank you very much. Now on with the show. Hello, welcome to the podcast. I have with me this week Verity White.
Hello, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for asking me.
It's great. Right, you're from Cheltenham in Gloucestershire, is that right?
I am. Yeah.
Yep. And you go on to see you only started releasing music and stuff in 2017.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we put our first stuff out in 2017. That's correct. Yeah, I've been writing for years though. I actually started writing music when I was about 12. So it took me a little while to do anything with it, but yeah.
we all have to find the right path, don't we?
I know.
But no, I mean, it's been quite an amazing few years for you then, really, hasn't it? Especially considering the last 2 years we've had the lockdown thing and everything. You've done incredibly well.
It's been, yeah, I mean, I think it's been the last, obviously when lockdown and COVID happened, it was a massive blow to everybody in the music sector, as well as a number of other sectors as well. And we kind of thought, okay, well, it's going to be around for a while. What can we do to kind of turn something really negative into something really positive? And so we started doing these live streams and just continued to do them, keep people happy, keep music going. We wrote loads of music, we did lots and lots and lots of stuff. And I actually think that we've come out of lockdown with a bigger following, better gigs on the horizon than we had when we went into it. So, that's quite amazing. I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I noticed you've. I mean, one of the things you got from a background, coming from a background as I do of I was involved in a lot of stuff to do with the new wave of British heavy metal and the all that kind of thing. Earache Records is kind of like a thing that everybody from that time knows really well, and the fact you were featured on one of their releases, the new wave of rock and roll release.
Yeah, that's right. They released a vinyl, and it came out literally like weeks before lockdown happened. And it was amazing. Yeah, it's been absolutely great to be chosen by them to feature on that, alongside some awesome names like Els Bailey, and she's on there. Jack J. Hutchinson's on there. I think Scammer on there. I can't remember now. There's so many brilliant names on there anyway. So it was a real honour to be featured on there. And I do keep in touch with most of the other bands that are on that as well. And we as you probably saw, we've got some gigs with Jack J. Hutchinson coming up later in the year. And I did a duet with Scam last year as well. And it's been really nice actually. It's a shame that we never really got to kind of do as much as we wanted with it because lockdown happened. We were let's do loads of gigs together, like all over the place, and everyone support each other. But it kind of fell a little bit by the wayside. But like I said, we've kept in touch with a lot of them, which is fab.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, you never know. I mean, things like that can always go on in the future as well. It's sort of, I know back in the day they used to do these things where you have a sort of almost like a one-day festival type lineup where you'd have 4 or 5 bands who were all who'd all come out on at the same sort of time, all together in a venue playing stuff. That was always really good.
Yeah, that would be awesome, and I'm sure, you know, a lot of the guys on the label would love to do that too. Yeah, I mean, we're still in touch. We're doing a gig with Loz, actually. I forgot to say that we're doing a gig with Loz later in the year. Loz Campbell, she was on there as well. So yeah, it would be great to do some more stuff. But I'm kind of seeing them all on the circuit anyway. So
Well, yeah, it must be great being back out there and doing gigs again, because you know it's very strange. Although it's only been like a couple of years, you know, well, it's not full 2 years, but it just seems like so much longer.
yeah,
It seemed very long, even if it hasn't.
and I think it's you know, especially for people who are involved in the industry or just really like going to gigs and it's what they do, that, you know, spend their free time doing.
Yeah.
Effectively, it's kind of like cut off their lifeline. I mean, for me personally, I'm really open online. You probably have seen this about my struggles with ADHD and anxiety and depression and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's gigging is a massive outlet for me. And although we've done online shows, it's not quite the same as the
No.
experience of being in front of people and it being sociable. And, you know, I need that in my life. And it's been really, you know, there have been weeks over the last few years that have been really hard. And I know that everybody's felt the same, you know, and I think that something that has helped people obviously is the fact that there has been music and arts and stuff out there to watch, but not being able to actually go and physically see a show or go to a festival or go to even an art gallery or something. I think it's really made people miss it and crave it quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's one thing. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now, because of the fact that they're easing the lockdown, but it's happening slowly, and getting people to understand. It's like, okay, yeah, calm. You can't just rush out there and go and see everybody and do everything straight away. You can take it calm.
I don't do calm. No, in all seriousness, I think there's going to be a selection of people who take things differently. And I think you've got to respect everybody, because everybody's going to do it in their own time, in their own way. And some people might make mistakes, but we're only human. So, and there'll be some people that don't feel comfortable going to a gig for, you know, a year or so, and that's okay as well, you know. So I just think it's important, you know, as anybody who's an artist, not to penalize your fans or get upset if things aren't selling as well as they could be, because, you know, everyone's going to feel different levels of comfort at different times, and it's important to support and understand that kind of thing, and just, you know, just be there for when people do feel they're ready to go back out and see things again.
Absolutely. I'm not somebody who likes the whole genre thing and putting people into little pigeonholes and personally can't stand that. And most of the bands I've talked to have said that it seems to be a thing amongst the bands and amongst the artists. There isn't that. People like don't consider themselves as being a specific type of music because of the fact you just play what you want to play.
Yeah.
But there are still places out there that need you or want you to break yourself down into these little pigeonholes. But everywhere I looked, there was nothing anywhere that sort of set you in a little pigeonhole. There was lots of things. It was difficult to get anything. All I got is you were influenced by 90s rock and grunge scene.
Yeah.
With intricate vocal lines.
Yeah.
And my favorite quote at all is that you play or you sing, and that is a brutal yet beautiful style of rock.
Yeah, that actually came from one of our fans. I was like, oh, thank you, I'll take that. I think it's quite hard because although the basis of what we do is obviously very rock based, and we've had all this influence from a lot of the really sort of awesome 90s rock bands and stuff, we're both really influenced by a lot of electronic music as well, and synths, but also things like blues and soul and Motown. And so you might listen to one of our albums and it starts off with just a really sort of steady rock banger, and the next one is going to be like synths and weird stuff and like really industrial noises, and then the next one might just be pianos and vocals. So it's just it kind of is a bit of everything, and it is hard to genreize, and that's actually been something that's been quite hard for us as a band anyway, because you know, since we've been releasing stuff, people have asked us, well, what genre are you? It's like, well, it's sort of rock, I suppose, but for a lot of like rock festivals and people who play rock, potentially they might not think everything what we do is rocky enough, but then we're potentially too heavy for other things. So it's like we just write what we write, and it it comes out vaguely rocky most of the time.
I know. I mean, a lot of bands I've talked to that have said that, you know, they pick things like alt rock.
Yeah, we've started saying indie alt rock because it's just like it kind of seems to capture everything.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's like, what a mouthful, you know what I mean?
The other one I love, which is great, which is when you get a band that's classed as experimental, because it doesn't mean anything, really.
Maybe I'll go for that one next. It sounds great. Gives me free reign.
So apart from you in the band, who else is there?
So I write with my husband, long-suffering husband and partner in crime, and we do that all from our home studio here in Cheltenham. So yeah, we basically create it all together, which is why it's been so easy over lockdown for us to sort of carry on and do stuff, because Alex plays every instrument, and we can just like pick stuff up and write things and mix and master and record them all here, and do our live streams as well. And then when we go out and gig, we have some mates of ours that join us on stage where they can make it as well. So it's kind of a bit of a moving piece, but mainly it's kind of me and Alex. So
right, yeah. I mean, I watched some of the acoustic live stream you've done and that sort of thing.
Thank you.
That's really
They're
good.
weird, aren't they?
Well, they're weird. It's different. It's interesting hearing you do acoustic versions of your own songs. That's quite interesting. And your live videos as well are really good. It's I don't know. It's an interesting atmosphere you have in the live videos.
I think it's just a lot of fun. Like the whole point of it is just we don't take ourselves too seriously, and I think there's a lot of people, you know, in music that have got really big egos and take themselves far too seriously and try to present themselves like they're wonderful and perfect and amazing all the time. And I'm like, do you know what? We're just human beings pissing about on a guitar, and I'm opening my mouth and noise is coming out and things will go wrong, and that's okay. But we're humans, and let's just have fun. So
yeah, no, that's great. Let's have a look at a clip from a video.
There's a party on the street, I'm going out tonight. Don't care what you say, you can put up a fight. Pour me a drink, make it snake bite and black. There's a party on the street and I'm not coming back. Gonna drink till I can't remember my name. Gonna drink till I can't be the one to blame. My actions, your reaction, oh, I don't care. We're gonna get along. Room spins, dark looks, I'm in for the kill.
You've already played a lot of festivals and things like that. Do you prefer doing festivals, or do you like doing the venues as well?
I love just being on the stage, in all honesty. So I love a festival because I suppose when you're playing a festival, generally you will get in front of lots of people that haven't heard you before, and it's really fantastic to meet loads of new people and to hear what they have to say, and hopefully, you know, they'll become someone who follows your band, and that's always amazing. But then when you're doing venues and it is filled with people that really want to see you because they're there to see you, that's a different type of atmosphere as well. Because like, although at a festival you look at and you'll see like a few people maybe singing along that might know who you are, or like at one of your own gigs in a venue, people will know your music, and that's you know, that's amazing as well. So I genuinely love both situations.
Cool. No, I understand that completely. I mean, it's the thing about any live performance is the immediacy of the reaction.
Yes, exactly. And that's what you've missed online. It's just like,
yeah, that feedback straight away from the audience. You can,
yeah, you know, if they walk out, then you know.
And the worst thing I think I've ever had is having people just sort of like standing chatting at a bar.
Oh no.
They didn't walk out, but they just had no interest in what we were playing at all.
But that's so frustrating as well, Andy, because you know there are people there that actually want to hear you, and they're not going to hear you as well if people are talking.
I know. You just kind of we'll just turn everything up. So your first album was Breaking Out.
Yes.
In 2017, and you kind of toured that in different venues and that sort of. You got to tour that sort of thing, and then your second album, Reclaim, Set Fire.
Yes.
2019. Did you get to do much in the way of?
Yeah, we did. We did a little mini tour of that ourselves and played quite a few gigs with a lot of the songs from it. The plan was always to do to do more, but things moved on, and then over lockdown we wrote these 2 EPs that have gone down really well as well. So the sort of set list for kind of the gigs that we've got coming up in the autumn is very much based around kind of, it sounds silly, but like best ofs. You know, we've got a few from Breaking Out, a few from Reclaim, Set Fire, and then a few from the EPs as well, just to kind of create something that where there's going to be new stuff and older stuff as well. So it should be really good. We were toying with the idea of actually working on an album like this year to release it like later on this year, but we've got all of these gigs lined up and loads of music that we haven't played live in front of people yet. So we kind of want to get that done first, and then and then the plan is, you know, write some more stuff sort of over the winter, basically. So, although we're writing now, it won't come out till later.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds good. I mean, getting out there and doing gigs, I think, is hugely important, not only to artists but to the people out there listening to the music as well. Being able to see the people out there, being able to see people on stage playing again is going to be really good for everyone, I think.
Yeah, I think it will. I think, you know, and like I said, it'll take a few people a while to get back to actually feeling comfortable to going into the venues as well, because you know what it's like. You know, some of the venues that we'll play will be like funny little kind of underground rooms underneath bars in London that you can only get in by these weird little stairs, and when you get down there it's fine, but like there's no ventilation and things like that. But then other venues that we'll play will be like big kind of open fields like in a festival, so people might feel comfortable there. So yeah, I think this year, like you said, it's gonna be a bit weird.
I think it will take a bit of time, but everyone will get there in the end, I think, in their own time. I watched some of your videos and listened to some of your music on YouTube, and that the first thing I watched actually was something that struck me, which was Come and Get It.
I knew you were going to say that one.
It's a very flattering look for you.
Thank you.
Don't quite know what else to say about that. Although there is one shot that was interesting, actually. There's one shot on there when you're, and I don't know if you did this on purpose. I'm assuming you probably did, but there's one shot on there when you're on the ambulance and you snap the glove, which reminds me almost exactly of the cover of the Blink 182 album.
Yes, exactly. That was where I was going with that. Loving your work. Yeah, definitely.
I thought that as soon as I saw that, I thought, hang on a minute, I know that.
Oh, do you know what? It was such a fun day filming that. It was absolutely hilarious. It was so good.
Like fun.
And the people that we worked with to make it, like, they were amazing.
Your picture, so eager to entice. Another instant quote from Nietzsche. Why don't you take your own advice? I don't care what people say. You know I'm gonna do this my way. Just another dull cliche, flicking dreams into an ashtray. Picture perfect all the time. Take another sip of wine. Oh, you see dreams into an ashtray. Picture perfect all the time. Take another sip of wine. Oh, you seem like a hypocrite. If you want it, come and get it.
So we are hoping to film again with them this year to get a new, like, really fancy video. But you know, it will have to save up.
I've got to say, as somebody, I mean, I do another podcast with my son doing reviews of short science fiction and horror films. And
Awesome.
As a horror film fan, that video is excellent. It's just it's brilliant.
I really love horror films as well. So.
You've got everything there. You got all the blood and the
Exactly. It's got everything you could want.
It looks like you had a lot of fun doing it.
I especially loved killing my husband.
So is it a fantasy role play thing, or dressing up in a latex nurse's uniform and killing your husband? That's quite a.
It's just a normal Tuesday.
I got to come round to your house on a Tuesday. No, I was also. I mean, I must admit, I did like ones. I've got wrote down a list of ones I liked, which is.
That's great. Thank you.
Breaking Out, I really like.
Yeah, that was fun as well. I enjoyed. So Ross, the guy that plays the pervy boss in that, is a guy that I've done loads of Amdram with, like back in the day. So I know him really well. So that was the amount of times that I've hit that man across the face is quite incredible. For art, I would say, not just like, you know, for art.
I Don't Care. That's a good. I like the song. That's a great song. It really is.
Yeah, that was really that was awesome, because we just got all of our mates around and genuinely were getting pissed while we were doing it. So
best videos are done like that. Where the best ideas come from as well. The other three I loved: Alibi.
Yes.
From the Light and Strange Things. Strange Things is who did the animation?
Oh, it's brilliant. So we put a shout out to we found a local animation studio down in Bristol, a couple of people that have quite recently graduated from the uni down there, and they set up their own business. And I said, have you got any ideas for this song? And they were like, we know you love cats, so we've had this idea about killing a cat. And I was like, you what? You're pitching an idea about killing a cat to someone that loves cats? But I was like, do you know what? Actually, this sounds pretty cool, because it's based on Ruskin, who is my cat. And if there's any cat that's going to go out, get pissed, get in a fight, get killed and come back to life, it's definitely Ruskin. So it kind of just worked. And, you know, that Strange Times is very much a song sort of about COVID. You know, we're going through a bit of a weird time, but it's all going to be okay kind of thing. And I think the video kind of accompanies that as well, which is cool. Yeah. Alibi I just filmed at home because we couldn't go anywhere or see anybody. So
You need to
very good. As I say, I like the live streaming ones. You got, because some of your live streaming ones are just acoustic, and some of them got electric guitar.
Yeah, and we've done a couple of ones with the piano as well, which have been really cool. So for those ones, I get all dressed up in like, oh, I'm posh and I'm an opera singer kind of dresses, because. But I like the ones. I like the ones where we dress up. The next one we're doing, Alex is dressing as me and I'm dressing as Alex, which I think is going to be very fun.
Yeah. Fair enough. It'll be interesting. So going back a little bit, the influences. I mean, you personally, what sort of bands were you influenced by? And the other thing is, I mean, you were saying you've been writing music for a long time.
Yeah.
What made you decide to sort of step over that line into the thing of actually performing?
Yeah. Well, with regards to the influences, my parents were in a band when I was little, so I used to hear them singing loads of covers. And my mum was doing like Blondie and Fleetwood Mac, and there was some Dire Straits in there. So there was all that kind of stuff. But also my dad would listen to a lot of Motown. So that's where kind of my love for people like Aretha Franklin and that came from as well. So in our house, there was always music on, there was always music happening, and you couldn't really have grown up and not had some sort of interest or passion for it. So yeah, right from when I was little, I was listening to music. And I remember when I got kind of my first stereo, and I really wanted a copy of the best of Aretha Franklin as like the first thing that I wanted. And my parents were like, "You what?" And I was like, "I really want it." And I just listen. I still listen to it now. It's a fantastic, fantastic compilation of her songs. But she was the person that made me want to sing, because what she does with her vocal is she writes these words and she communicates vocally with her voice.
Yeah.
The emotion and passion, and you can feel what she's feeling when she wrote them. And I was like, that is what I want to do. That's amazing. I don't want to sound like, I've never wanted to sound like a carbon copy or a pop star or anything like that. I've wanted, the whole point for me about music and singing is to create emotion and to make people feel something when you do it. So that was really kind of a massive point for me. But then, loads of 90s bands, people like Pearl Jam, Skunk Anansie, Garbage, loads of that, always on. Nine Inch Nails, always on in our house as well. So I'm actually wearing a Nine Inch Nails top today. So yeah, they're probably one of my faves. But then electronic music like Portishead, Lamb, stuff like that too. So loads and loads of different things, which is quite cool. But yeah, the moving on to the second part of your question, which was about when I decided to actually start performing. It's quite funny actually. So I avoided doing anything with my voice because I was too scared, because I loved it too much for a really long time. And then about 12 years ago, I met Alex, and he was like, you ever decide, you're gonna do anything with that? You're gonna, all of this stuff you've been doing? I was like, well, maybe. And I started doing a few gigs here and there, but with covers bands and things. And then I did a few kind of theatre shows and stuff. And I got chosen by Pendragon to join them on tour a few times and tour around the world with them as a backing vocalist. And when I was out on tour with them in like 2015, 2016, the fans were saying, "Oh, do you write? Do you release anything? Do you write?" And I was like, well, yeah, I do, but I've never really done anything. And then I came back from the first tour I did with them. I was like, Alex, should we just try and write some stuff and see what happens? And that's kind of when I decided to actually start putting what I did out there. So yeah, it was. I think I needed to build up my confidence, that it was something that my confidence and my fear of failure I needed to get over to be able to do it.
Yeah. It's difficult sometimes to get past that feeling that what's the point in doing it, because I bet it's never going to work.
Yeah, because when you love something so much as well, it's like you put your heart and soul into it, and if it doesn't work out, even in just a small way, because I remember when I started doing this, I said to my best friend, all I want to do is just stand on a stage. I don't care if it's a really shit one and no one's listening. I just want to sing one song that I've written. And now I'm like, all I want to do is perform in front of 10,000 people. And it's like, it always moves. I never thought I'd get kind of as far as I had, but it was that fear of, oh God, I'm going to stand up and everyone's going to hate it. That I couldn't cope with, because it's, like I said, it's all about, for me, about emotion, about expressing truth and emotion, and because it's my soul on a plate. you know, and if people hated it, I'd be like, oh God, I'm an awful person. And it would just like spiral into a bad place. But I was like, no, right, time to do this now. Life's too short.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I mean, I've done it myself, so I know
Yeah.
exactly where you're coming from. It's an interesting thing, because I always found it was it kind of, with me, it kind of went up. I started doing covers.
Yes.
I was worried it was kind of like, am I going to be able to do this right? Are people going to go, God, it's an awful version? And then when I kind of been doing that for a while, we then started writing our own stuff, and I was thinking,
Awesome.
oh my God, is this going to be good enough for people?
It's terrifying.
Who writes this rubbish? Why does anybody want to listen to this? You know, but I got through that. But then, I mean, it's enough of my story. I'm not here to
No, I'm interested. I kind of, like I said, I went from covers as well because it's the easiest way. It's like the gateway drug. You like kind of, I'll do this because it's less scary.
Thing is, I kind of did it twice because of the fact that I have an addiction problem, and I had to go through rehab. And when I came out of that, the other side,
yeah.
I wanted to prove to myself that it wasn't just the addiction that was giving me the power and the confidence to do it.
I understand completely.
So I went back out there and tried to do it again, and it went quite well. But I haven't got around to doing my own stuff live in front of people again.
I can imagine you've got an amazing array of stories and emotion and things that you can put into the stuff that you write as well with all of that. So
but it's been good. It was good to get out there and do it, and to actually, because I managed to after I'd come through the rehab thing, I actually managed to go out and audition for all the bands I've been in with people I knew.
Oh, that's
And I actually managed to go out and audition for a band with people I'd never met before.
That's scary.
And got the gig of singing with them. So it kind of made me feel a lot better about my abilities.
Yeah. Like, maybe I'm not shit.
Yeah. Maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I'm a bit too old in the tooth now to start.
No, do you know what? That's not true. I don't believe in that at all. It's about, but you know, when you're listening to a song on the radio, or you've got, you know, Spotify playlist or whatever on, first thing you think isn't how old's the singer. That's never the first thing you think. The first thing you think is, do I like this music? So sod the haters and just do what you want to do.
Unless it's the Rolling Stones, and then I listen to them and think, how are they still doing this?
I mean, I swear they must be pickled. It's quite impressive they can still stand up, mate, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. I'm amazed. Like, half an hour of standing on my feet, and I'm starting to feel like I want to sit down somewhere.
Yeah. They've probably got oxygen tanks. Right, back on. Sorry, the Rolling Stones. I'm sure you're very healthy.
I don't know. So you're doing like a mini tour at the moment. So you're playing all over the UK, or?
Yeah, well, it's mainly, sadly, it's mainly England centric at the moment. We have got a festival in Swansea, but that was postponed from this year over to next year. We are up in Wanlock Head in Scotland as well at the end of July at Wildfire Festival, but mainly the rest of them sadly are in England. It's been a weird, as you know, obviously it's a weird year. The gigs that we've got sort of this year are, rather than it being our own tour, we're doing a lot of support slots and festivals and gigs with mates that we know. So it's kind of getting back out there and having a lot of fun. But the plan is actually to do a big UK tour early 2022 with a new album, and actually just go out there and just hit like as many places as we can. We've applied for some grants from PRS to see if we can get that off the ground as well, because I've got lots of visions and plans of like how I want to turn it into this amazing sort of visual show as well. So I've got so many plans. So yeah, I want to turn it into this really creative experience. So we need a bit of funding to be able to do that, but fingers crossed. And yeah, we're just really excited. So yeah, this year's awesome because it's almost like, it's not testing the water, but it does feel very risk averse and not like I've organized a massive tour and, you know, shit, if we don't break even, we're going to have to remortgage the house. This year's like, this year feels pretty chill compared to that.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I mean, I look forward to you doing that, the big gigs and that. I'm actually looking forward to coming to see you live, because I'm coming to see you on Saturday.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's going to be great because it's a shame that we had to split it down into 2 shows. It was originally going to be like one big show, but because of social distancing, we split it into 2. But it's great because Pete K. Malley, who we're gigging with, is a really, really funny guy. So it's this, we've basically badged it a night of trouble. So it should be really fun. And yeah, we're looking forward to that a lot.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to coming. It'll be the first gig I've been to in about 3 years, I think.
Oh my God. That's amazing. Wow. I'm so glad I get to pop your cherry.
Oh, thank you. I don't know what to say now. I'm a bit flustered. You made an old man very happy. So where from here then? You were saying next year you're planning on doing another album and a bigger tour, that sort of thing. So you're looking to carry on with that sort of momentum and build on that? And
yeah, very much. I mean, like I said, although this year isn't any of our gigs, we've got some great slots with other amazing bands. So we've got, like I said, a few with Jack, but we're also supporting Toya Wilcox, which is
yes, I noticed that.
So my plan is to become best friends with her. No.
She is an amazing woman.
She's awesome, and I love what she stands for and what she's done and how she's like really challenged boundaries and stuff in the industry, and like that's exactly how I am and how I want to be as well. So for me, that's a massive coup to be able to support her. So that's awesome. But yeah, just like you said, build on momentum, keep going, and just bigger and better, and keep going, and more music, and just keep being creative and taking on more ideas and just seeing what happens, really. So yeah, it's just it's a snowball, isn't it? It just kind of keeps rolling, and I don't think we're ever gonna stop doing this kind of thing. It might change guises, you know, if I get to sort of 60 and I'm still like, yeah, maybe we'll release a jazz album, who knows? But yeah, I think it will keep going, because we're both creative musical people, and there's no way we cannot create, so it's always going to be there.
Well, you know, there have been other couples that have been doing it till their old age. As far as jazz goes, you've got Cleo Lane and Johnny Dankworth did it right until their 80s, you know.
Yeah, amazing people. Yeah, you never know. I could do jazz. And
you also got things like, I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine a while back, and he was saying about the fact that he was at a festival when Hawkwind were playing a festival, and he went to see them, and it was where it was what the person who was in charge of the local residents thing, that sort of thing, was Vera Lynn.
What?
Yeah, and the Vera Lynn. And Vera Lynn came along to the festival to make sure everything was going to go all right and that sort of thing, and ended up actually getting up on stage at the festival and singing.
That's amazing.
So you got
my God, I love that.
This huge acid head festival, and Vera Lynn got up and did a couple of numbers. It's just
brilliant. That would be amazing. You'd be like stood there off your tits go, what is going on?
Yeah. Yeah, is this really happening, or am I?
They were bad mushrooms, Dave.
So, I mean, do you have a sort of glorious 5-year plan, a long-term thing of where you expect to be in 5 years' time, where you want to be?
I have a lot of very boring spreadsheets.
You strike me as somebody who would have things planned out quite well.
Yeah, no, definitely got things planned out. It's not always obviously very detailed, but it's like I certainly want to see sort of the audience base is growing, and I do very like grown-up things like tracking our growth on the various different social media platforms and the streaming, and tracking our revenue and return on investment and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm all right at that kind of thing, the business side of stuff. But I think, you know, to be a band that goes anywhere, you need to understand the business side of things. You've got to have commercial acumen, and you need to, you know, understand the marketing and media side of things as well. So, you know, it's very important for me to make sure that we're tracking all of this stuff and that it is growing, because actually if you find that it becomes stagnant, then at that point you've got to think, okay, what haven't we done that we should have been doing? You know, we've always got a plan for, like, we do have a 5-year plan, but we always have a plan for, like, what's next and what's next and what's next and what will we keep doing. Like the live streams, we're going to continue doing them, because even though lockdown is lifting, it's become this amazing little group of people that are always there, and it's really friendly, and we love that community. So we'll keep doing those kind of things. But then, you know, we've got lots of plans for other stuff that we want to do as well. So
we're looking at moving towards big European and world tours, and
I would absolutely adore to do that. Yeah, it would be really, really awesome. I think, you know, the plan for me for next year is to try and get our feet under the table of potentially some smaller European festivals to get over onto the continent a little bit. We have got an agency that we're working with that are hoping to help us do that as well. So we'll see how that goes. And then once you've kind of got over the water, it gets a little bit easier to then get more contacts and stuff like that. But yeah, my brother's actually moving to Sweden next month, so I've got my eyes on Sweden rock. So
I was going to say, are there any particular festivals that you'd really like to play?
Yeah, Sweden rock would be amazing. No, in the UK, I mean, obviously there's just, you know, we're spoiled for choice. We've got lots of awesome ones lined up for next year anyway, and every year it seems to be like, what's really nice is like the ones that we've played are inviting us back, which is awesome. But then we're getting other ones added to the bill as well. So that's really cool. So we've got some great ones added for next year. But, you know, I'm going to keep applying for the bigger, you know, named festivals that everyone knows, you know, like Glastonbury and stuff like that. That would be epic. You know, it really would, wouldn't it, to be able to play Glastonbury? That would be so cool. But, you know, it would, you know, I just love playing, and it doesn't matter to me really the size of the audience or the festival or whatever. Just if we're up there and we're getting to do our thing, then that's a brilliant occasion. It's
one of those things as well. I think if as a performer, you want to perform, you want to do this thing. And I mean, one of the things I was told right from the beginning, when I was said about I wanted to go out there and start playing live and that, somebody I'd known for years said to me, if you're going to go out there and play a live show, it doesn't matter whether you're playing to 100,000 people or if you're playing to 3 blokes and a dog, you put on the same show.
Yeah, exactly.
That's your job. That's what you're there to do, is to
exactly. Bob, you are to entertain and perform. That is your job. And if you're up there going, oh, well, there's only 3 people and they're not paying attention, so I'm not going to play. They're not going to, because actually what you want, if there are 3 people there and they're not paying attention, then make them pay attention and make more people come in and watch you, because like that's how good you've been. So
absolutely. I mean, you know, I've had it where we had the bar staff watching us and applauding, and nobody else in the place was even paying any attention.
Well, good for the bar staff. We've all had gigs like that though. We all have, like we've had some ones where you're just like, why were we booked to play here? Like clearly this is not the right fit, but okay, let's see what happens.
Well, I've got to say, I wish you all the very best with everything. I really like the music you do, and I really like you. I think you're a lovely person.
Thank you so much.
I think my mum used to have a phrase which was always meant in a very nice way.
Yeah.
But I think kind of fits, which is like as mad as a box of frogs, which is quite.
Do you know, you would be surprised to hear, Andy, that's not the first time I've heard that. I revel in it, so it's fine.
Lovely. Well, it's been wonderful talking to you.
You too. Well, I will see you very soon.
I will see you very soon. See you on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I look forward to that, and I look forward to seeing more from you in the future. And maybe I'll do another interview with you when you're headlining Glastonbury, and
that would be great. I'll even let Alex talk.
How gracious of you.
I know. I'm kind.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you, my love. See you soon.
And thank you to everybody for tuning in, and go and check out the Verity White Band wherever you can. And we'll see you again soon. Bye. Talking Music with Big Andy.